Alright, now it's your time. On the screen, you will see that I have multiple questions, just like the one that I did with you in the last video. What I want you to do is I want you to pause the video and try to work each of the problems. You'll have to work them one at a time because they take up quite a bit of space. For the first question, it says create a table for the function. That one's pretty simple. You'll have a table just like this. Question number 2, you're going to take this information and you'll graph it. And then when you get to some of the others, you'll have to make your own table and graph. So my suggestion, try questions 1 through 4, and in a minute I'll come back and I'll give you the answer to a couple of them. Good luck. Be back in a minute. Now, I'm going to zoom out and move these questions to the top, and then we're going to work a couple of them together and see how we did. Let's put that right there. And let's work a couple of questions. Let's try question number 3. This will help you see if you know what you're doing. Create a graph for the function f of x 1/2 x squared minus 3. And they ask for x is -4, -2, 0, 2, and 4. So we'll go ahead and make our chart first and see what we get. We're going to plug in -4 here. -4 squared, that means multiply it by itself. That's 16 times 1/2. That's 8. Divide by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Minus 3 is 5. Do that again. -4 times itself squared is 16. Divided by 2 is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. You can always put that in your calculator and get the correct answer. I'm just doing it without a calculator. -2. -2 squared, so -2 squared is 4. Divided by 2 is 2. Minus 3, that one's -1. Got to be careful on that one. If I use 0, 0 squared is 0. Divided by 2 is still 0. Minus 3 is -3. If I use a 2, 2 squared is 4. Divided by 2 is 2. Minus 3 is -1. Interesting. -2 ends up -1, and 2 ends up -1. Interesting. 4, let's see what this one does. 4 squared is 16. Divided by 2 is 8. Minus 3 is 5. Get that same thing. So what's going to end up happening is when we graph this thing, we're going to end up having, well, let's see, -4, -1, -2, -3, -4. I'm going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to be up here somewhere. At -2, -1, -2, we're going to be at -1. So we're going to be like here. Oops. Put it in the wrong spot. -2 is -1. It'll be there. And 0 is -3. And then 2 is -1. 1, 2 is -1. Those sort of match up. And then 4 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 5. And then when you graph it, what you're going to have is a curve like that. Hint, anytime you have a square, you're going to have that kind of shape. That's an easy thing to remember, and that's a quick way to look at something, is if you see a square in the formula, you're probably going to have a bent shape like that, parabola kind of thing, and so that's great. I did it right. If you got this, then you did it right. Good. Let's do one more. Let's do number 4. F of x, 3x plus 1. And they want us to put x as -2, -1, 0, and 1. Those are the numbers they want us to put in. So I'm going to go a little faster this time. Let's see if we get it. Let's see, -2. -2 here is -6. Plus 1 is -5. -1 in there. -1 times 3 is -3. Plus 1 is -2. If I put in a 0, that goes away. Plus 1 is 1. And if I put in a 1, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Okay, so I have my points. these become, again, the points on my graph. At -2, I'll go down to -5. I'm not using graph paper, I'm just basically getting what it looks like. -1 is -2. And by the way, if I have graph paper, it just makes it easier. Again, if I have a graphing calculator, this makes it a lot easier. 0 is 1, and then 1 is 4. And I have that kind of line. You'll notice it's not bent this time because there's not a square on there. It just has one X, and that's going to end up being a line, and so I end up getting a line. And so I probably did that one right. If you have need help on any of the others, go see your teacher, but I bet you got it. Good job.